Hello, this is Steven Nelson, and this is my Unit 15 screencast. Um, in this chapter, or in this unit rather, we are focusing on Eagle, Alaska. Let's take a look at the map real quick. Eagle, situated over here, uh, behind quite a few of these mountains. In much the same way Fairbanks is when you get to low pressure systems that are fairly common for the state to push up in here. Um, moisture gets, all that humidity and moisture gets pushed up and it rises and expands and cools, and then on the other side that'll compress and warm, and you'll get the Chinook winds. So both of those locations, I believe, can be affected by that. And here we have the station observations for Eagle for 2015, January 25th to the February 2nd. And as you can see, condition or temperatures were considerably lower than um, what climate would have suggested for this time period. As you can see, here's the mean temperature for this time period historically, and here's the minimum, and here's the actual temperature as well below that. So as you can see, uh, much colder temperatures than you might forecast based on the climatology. Let's take a look at the charts and see what might be causing that. And here we have the weather charts for the beginning of the week, the 25th. Got low pressure over here, giving way to high pressure. And as we scroll down, you can see that high pressure build up and basically persist through the period, and that's what's causing our colder than expected temperatures. So here's those cold temperatures, and then a rise in the temperature on the 31st. If you take a look at this, here's the high pressure building in, getting stronger and stronger, and then beginning to drop back down on the 31st. The satellite images for Thursday, January 29th, a little harder to decipher for me anyways. It's tough to see on the visual, maybe even on the infrared, if we're seeing clouds up here or just snow. I think it's mostly clear as far as the clouds go. However, I do see quite a bit of humidity, it looks like, and water vapor in this image here in the bottom right. Here's the week of the 22nd to the 30th in March of 2015 for Eagle. Look at the temperature here between the 25th and the 28th. Temperatures remain well above the average, although it is above average pretty much for that whole time frame. Here in particular, it's just a shorter spread on the temperature, and it remains above the average. And here we have the 24th of March map, and as you can see, the low pressure down in the Gulf, and as that progresses, you can see how the moisture would have been pushed up against those mountains, and you get that orographic lifting, or the air parcel is going to expand and cool. And then on the lee side of that, it's going to compress and warm, and you'll have the Chinook winds, and that's going to account for our higher temperatures that we were looking at for the station observation versus the normal climate conditions. A quick look at the rest of the data for this time frame shows relatively low pressure getting weaker throughout that week. And let's take a look at the dew point and relative humidity. The observations from that first week were harder to kind of see this trend, but here, as the dew point increases, the relative humidity decreases, and vice versa. So if you compare the relative humidity with the temperatures, you'll usually see the increase in relative humidity when the temperature drops as well. Taking a look at the satellite images for Tuesday, March 24th. Here's our low pressure system and a low pressure trough. And as you can see, some moisture associated with both of those. Quite a bit here around the low. And you can see it on the trough there as well on the visible. So all this moisture gets, slammed up against the mountain, and then you get the Chinook winds, as we talked about. So we've seen how these high and low pressure systems can really alter the station's weather. In this instance, Eagle. For both weeks, we saw temperatures that were way outside the norm for that time of year. So when looking at weather versus climate, for climate, you definitely have to look at the long-term trend rather than the short-term, as these systems can kind of skew the stats. So this concludes my Unit 15 screencast. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.